Following Africa and South America, this is the start of Chapter 3 in the history of the Dakar in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia.
If you met someone from the other side of the world who'd never heard of the Dakar and you wanted to explain the idea of it, what would you say?
Well, first of all, I would listen to his story, because I'm sure I'd find it very interesting. But then I'd tell him my story, the story that we're lucky enough to be telling. They'd be different, but maybe not so different in the end.
These men have an incredible advantage over us. Their philosophy of timelessness. It makes me want to be 1,000 times more respectful of the desert.
It's an immense desert, 4 times bigger than France, so there are possibilities in every direction. And we can use it all, so I see an incredible future for the rally here. There is a big element of surprise, and it's just beautiful, magnificent.
C'est magnifique.
Let's have a look at what awaits the crews this new year in our new Middle Eastern home. Starting in the Red Sea port of Jeddah, the first 3 days stages head to the far northwest of Saudi Arabia and the city of Neom, near the border with Egypt, before diving inland eastwards across the heart of the country for a brief pause in the capital city, Riyadh. Then the rally continues relentlessly south into the Empty Quarter, the biggest expanse of desert sand in the world, before looping around to the finish in Qiddiya on the outskirts of Riyadh. 12 daunting stages to take the Dakar into its unknown Arabian adventure. Dakar hero just got on the podium. Oh my God, what a feeling, what a feeling. We'll see you at the finish, hopefully.
Well, as the sun set on Jeddah, it was time for the stars to rise on the start podium of Dakar 2020. A spectacular show with champions and performers from the world-famous Cirque du Soleil.
Salam alaikum.
A festive evening for the many fans who gathered to cheer on the heroes of the Dakar. Those who've already won and those, like Fernando Alonso, who'll be discovering the toughest rally in the world. A tough all-rounder to kick off Dakar 2020. This first spin from Jeddah to Al Waj is very complete with tracks, navigation, sand and the rally's first dunes. The 342 vehicles will have to be ready to rock and roll from the word go. The 25 elite riders gathered early on Sunday to kick off the Dakar. Joan Pedrera had the honour of getting this 42nd edition underway under the watchful eye of race director David Castera. Well, on the Dakar, it's a tricky balancing act between pacing yourself to find the right route and making sure that you don't lose too much time on the leaders. KTM rider Matthias Walkner came third on the opening stage. The Austrian has shown great consistency in recent years, 2 second-place finishes as well as his victory in 2018. He'll be one to watch as ever. KTM and Honda trading blows throughout the stage, and that's become a familiar theme in recent years. Surely be the case again in 2020. Now Ricky Brabeck suffered heartbreak on stage 8 of last year's race, his engine failing with overall victory in his sights. The Honda man's dreaming of becoming the first American to win the Dakar in the prestigious bikes category, and he was looking good on day 1, coming second on the stage. Now by his own admission, it was a strange old outing for the defending champion Toby Price on day 1. The Aussie getting into a spot of bother with his roadbook tower, which stopped functioning, and he could easily have lost his way if he hadn't caught up with his KTM teammate Walkner. In the end, the 2016 and 2019 winner took the stage 1 victory, and he is looking on form in spite of the wrist injury that he suffered last year, which made his 2019 Dakar win even more impressive.
Dakar is the toughest and longest race in motorsport.
I think
The challenge is already the maximum it can be.
1 hour to go. 1 hour to go.
For me, it's even higher because I never did anything away from the asphalt.
After 2 Formula 1 titles and victories at Le Mans, Fernando Alonso takes on the Dakar.
Right now my full focus is on the Indy 500 and on Le Mans 24 hour, but long-term future you never know. I don't have the crystal ball now to know exactly what I will do, but yeah, it's nice to test different disciplines in motorsport and learn from all of them. If I tried something in cross country, I prefer to do the biggest challenge possible and hopefully the biggest reward possible. Memories from the past, I have few. I remember to see that car with the tire on top. I think I have that car in my home when I was a kid. I was playing with that car. I have no fears, I think, to be honest. I know the challenge in front of us. I respect the race. I'm willing to enjoy every second, every kilometer. I know that it's an adventure, it's a one in a life probably experience, and I'm trying to enjoy every kilometer. So the expectations are first to finish. I know that there are high percentage of retirements, and I don't want to be one of those if possible, and leave the experience from the beginning to the end.
On stage 1 in the cars, 2-time Dakar winner and double World Rally champion Carlos Sainz lost time looking for a hidden waypoint. The Spaniard also picked up a puncture, but he nonetheless crossed the line in 3rd place. "13-time Dakar winner Stefan Petterhansel lost time finding a waypoint as well, but it seems that getting used to a new co-driver giving English pace notes hasn't affected Mr. Dakar too badly. But there's a surprise name written in the history books as the winner of stage 1 in Saudi Arabia, Vaidotas Zala. The Lithuanian rally champion hoped to be competitive after coming 12th last year. For the 32-year-old, it must have been a dream to open the 2020 edition with a stage win in his new Mini.
It's the first stage with this car, and it's a totally different beast from what we had before. It's such a nice car.
On to stage 2, the first part of the super marathon for the elite bikers. They would only have 10 minutes to work on their machines at the end of another difficult day. Well, there's a new rule for this Dakar, which will see roadbooks distributed in the morning on 6 of the 12 stages. The bikers have 25 minutes to look at it before getting underway. Pablo Quintanilla here, coming along very nicely. That's considering that he sustained a double ankle fracture at last year's Dakar. The Chilean 3rd on the day. Sam Sunderland taking over from his KTM teammate Toby Price at the top of the overall standings. The British rider, champion in 2017, doing a fine job of navigating a tricky stage. And after Zala in the cars on stage 1, a surprise winner in the bikes on stage 2. Ross Branch, he becomes the first man from Botswana to triumph on the Dakar. The man known as the Kalahari Ferrari, clearly having a great time on his new KTM. Disaster for Fernando Alonso, a broken wheel and wishbone. The F1 legend and co-driver Mark Comer tried to fix it on the stage, but lost 2 hours. It's part of the adventure. We're living the Dakar 100% with all of its consequences. Happy to be able to continue for now. Janelle de Villiers finished way down in 14th on stage 1, but he won stage 2. Toyota taking a different, stronger compound of tyre today to try and prevent the puncture fest of yesterday. It worked for the South African, chasing his second Dakar victory.
Keep the wheels turning and get to the finish. That's the goal for the Dakar, get to the finish.
¿Estás bien o qué? Perdón, ¿eh?
Putain. I just opened the tyre, man. That was right on the suspension.
Stay there. It's hard to know. Look at them, crazy.
On to the first loop of this Dakar around Neom. Stage 3 has been described by the race director David Castera as the most beautiful of this 2020 edition. Practically 100% sand with more tricky navigation, and again, just 25 minutes to work on the roadbook. Now, Adrian van Beveren has suffered plenty of misfortune in recent years, and Dakar disaster struck again for the Frenchman after just 4 kilometres. A heavy crash spelling the end of his rally. Well, Van Beveren has now been forced to abandon in 3 consecutive editions. He already crashed out in 2018 when fighting for overall victory. Luckily, his injuries appear to be less serious this time around. Kevin Benavides came in 3rd on the day. The Argentine had a really good first part of the stage and was actually leading at one point, but it didn't help when he got turned around towards the end of the special due to an error in the roadbook. Benavides only 7 minutes back. And a cracking performance from his teammate Nacho Cornejo. He was 2nd on the day, moving up to 5th overall. The stage times were eventually taken from before the rogue waypoint, but one thing didn't change. Victory going to Ricky Brabec, who also moved into the overall lead.
Even as a child,